welcome to the Comicspiracy episode 607 for the week of whatever this is, Monday, February 12th, 2024. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Kevin.
And Lane.
Brock. Lane, you're on like a different mic or something. You're pretty quiet. Sounds okay.
Really?
Don't worry about it. Don't.
Close enough, probably.
Nah, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Nah, you sound fine.
You got to live up on that mic, Lane.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
We'll fix it
Just
in post.
make more work for Ryan in post.
Yeah. So I should go back
Absolutely
and forth,
not.
back and forth, back.
Oh, I'm going to leave. I'll come back in. Give me a second.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is going to be the Kevin and Lane episode. Well, no, there's some other stuff to talk about, but I want to hear Kevin has a every now and then we talk about cons that we go to. Kevin has a unique con experience because I want to hear about this because it's not a typical Comic-Con, so I was excited to hear about this. And then Lane, I needed you on tonight because you're gonna carry a couple of big stories this week. We got a bunch of art stuff that I want you to talk to me about, so and CGC stuff. So I'm looking at you to give me some more explanation here. But Kevin, talk about your art con you went to. I'm excited to hear all about this.
Yes. So, if anybody's familiar with the Lake Como Comic Art Festival, which happens in Italy every year, it's basically I did not attend that. That's in May. That is basically a con where there is nothing there as far as comics or merch or shirts or toys or anything like that. It is just artists and art dealers. And so this year was the inaugural version of the American Lake Como called the Original Art Expo. It's held in Orlando, and this was year one in January. And so, hey, I'm always up for a new con. I mean, I flew cross country and back in, I think my turnaround time was under 72 hours all in, because the show is only for 2 days. And then they have a party. The night before the con is a big party with. So anyway, the premise of the con is they had, I think, 60 artists, and they capped the ticket sales, I believe, at 400. So it basically comes out to, if you put attendee to artist ratio, is fewer than 10 people per artist. And basically it was just it's a big room where you can see from one side of the room to the other, and everybody is seated. It was just a great setup. You could walk around. You weren't jostled by anybody. There was plenty of room. The crowd was controlled. There was no nonsense there as far as like things, exclusives or anything like that, where people are like elbowing and running into the show. But yeah, it was a totally chill con, but not in the boring way. In the best way, the totally manageable way. You could have a conversation, and I did, with any artist you wanted to talk to. The longest line as far as number of people I waited in was 5 the whole weekend. 5, and that was the biggest line. I think that was for the All Reds. And a lot of people came out to this who don't normally do on the convention circuit. So that was one of the appeals also. And then they had some art dealers selling original art. I can't remember if it was CGC or CBCS was there. One of those was there to grade art because there were no comics for sale. Then they had Heritage Auctions was there. And then also, so it was a Saturday and Sunday all day, both days. Then Saturday night was an original art auction where they had 90, as in 90 pieces of art to auction off. And all of the proceeds of that went to Hero Initiative. And it was basically all you can eat pizza for free if you attended the auction that night. And so, yeah, sure. Why not?
Awesome.
Yeah. And then Sunday. So the show ends at doesn't go way late into the hours. There's no masquerade. There's no panels. There's nothing like that. It's just purely, I want to see artists. I want to get things signed. I want to get things sketched. If you're not interested in that, you would hate this show because there's no back issues to browse. There's no pop figures. There's literally nothing else. But then they also had galleries that you could just walk through at your own pace. including like a big gallery of original art from the Marvel trading card sets. Because guys who collect the originals of those, and they all teamed up together and made this huge gallery of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. They had an Adam Kubert gallery with all of his Wolverine covers when he was on that book, because he kept them all. And then they had a fantasy and science fiction art gallery, which was amazing to look at, pieces from all vintages. Yeah, it was just very, very fun. And then Sunday after the convention, everybody was like piled in the bar, at the hotel bar, watching the NFL championship games, because it was that Sunday. It was super fun. And I mean, I'm talking about like the attendees and the special guests. So yeah, it was just a super fun show. Yes, it was a long flight, but basically these were direct flights. So it's the equivalent kind of driving from where we live to LA and back in a weekend, which is not, I've done that many times. So that wasn't a deal breaker, except you're just sitting on a plane is the difference. Yeah, I spent more than I wanted to, but you get in the room and you kind of get convention fever. Where if you looked at something on a website, you could, hem and haw, come back to the tab later, But when you're there in the hall with all of this amazing stuff,
just in front of you,
you're just like, sure, whip out the cash. Yeah. And then the final thing I'll say about it is they also had a very interesting, I've never seen this done at a con before. In your swag bag, you got blank sketch cards. And there was I think it was a 2-hour block of time on Sunday afternoon. So for those, you had to be attending both days. There was a 2-hour block of time where basically the artists were sketching for free. Now, these were 5-minute con sketches, not like a full commission.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big sketch card collector, so I just pulled out like a sketch book, and nobody had any problem. People just banged it out. I got Garcia Lopez, I got Kevin Nolan, I got Matt Wagner. They're just banging out sketches, like whatever you want, whatever they could do in 5 minutes that you request. Kevin Nolan had his wife timing him from when pencil went on paper until it was done. He got 5 minutes.
It's like they wouldn't go. Is there like a minimum buy-in to this? Because I mean, with so limited ticket, like, is it just a bunch of looky-loos show up and it's not worth it? I mean, you have to buy commissions?
No, you don't have to buy anything. But what I heard the conversation was from multiple people, artists and dealers. Multiple artists I overheard talking about how they sold out of everything they brought. The portfolios they brought of pre-done stuff, sold out of everything. And were just busy all weekend long making art.
That's awesome.
There was one dealer I was talking to who does San Diego and New York every year, who said he sold more in 2 days here than at the entire San Diego, including preview night.
Wow.
So,
well, I mean, it's so hyper-focused, right?
And so,
but my fear would be someone would go and just kind of looky-loo and wander around and not. And then it was so few people able to go. I'd be afraid of
that, and I think that was a fear. But I think that was a fear. But the thing was, to be a looky-loo, you'd kind of have to be local to Orlando and not really know what it was. You wouldn't fly there because you would know what it is.
Yeah.
So people went there with, fat wads of cash in their pocket, ready to buy.
Yeah. Well, I would assume the biggest of the big guns would come out for something like this. The biggest comic buyers, because it's the art buyers, because they know this is such a limited event.
Yep.
But yeah, so I guess it's probably not.
So there will be a volume 2.
Like I didn't even know this existed until I saw your picture. So someone like me, I mean, I love art, but I'm not in the world. So you probably wouldn't have even known this existed if you're not
in the art world,
collector.
Right? Because it wouldn't be advertised somewhere that's comics,
right?
Yeah,
right.
But it was, I think, for nothing in a first year version of anything is going to be perfect, but I would give them a solid A- as a first year con. There was not one moment where I went, God damn, I should not have made the effort to come to this. I spent more than I wanted to, granted, but that money aside, you can always make more money. You can't replicate an experience.
Yeah.
And so, Ryan, after you and I missed Morrison Con, I vowed that anytime there's a new show, I'm never missing again. Never. So
Yeah,
I know.
don't
We
remind
just
me.
won't speak of that. But anyway, yes, that was it's called OAX, Original Art Expo. They are coming back in 2025. And what happened was a lot of people who I talked to, went and then stayed all week and did the parks because MegaCon was the weekend after this. So people would just make a vacation out of it and do both cons and then just do parks in between. Now that's a big ticket vacation. You're going to do that, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Disney or Universal is going to cost you a couple grand,
right?
And you're probably spending a couple grand at the con,
and then you're paying for a hotel for essentially, a week and a half,
2 weeks.
So anyway,
and MegaCon, whatever you spend there. So MegaCon's this past weekend.
MegaCon just ended this past weekend. Yeah. So but this was, as far as again, it's not a comic book convention,
right?
I wouldn't compare it to Baltimore or anything like that. But would I rather go to this than like San Diego? Hell yes. It's just the distance of getting to this is what makes it. It's not going to be an every year thing for me, but I'm sure glad I went to this one.
That's super cool.
Hey, Kevin, question.
Yeah.
To compare it to Lake Como.
I haven't been to Como.
No, I know, but I mean, something that I've heard from Como is like when artists do the commissions and stuff, you have to they just do it in line. Were they doing that at OAX or not?
They did. A lot of people, almost everybody who was there took pre-show commission lists though. Okay. So if you wanted to get a classic con, I'm not talking about the freebie, the 5-minute. I'm talking about like a real con sketch. Some people you stood there and got it done, and some people you could just drop off and come back later. So it was a mix of both. So I got a couple of those, and I got a pre-show done one also, and then I got some freebies. So it was successful for me. Yeah, and like I said, longest line that I was in. I know there were probably people stood in long and longer than me, but 5 people.
Nice. And
that's awesome.
Is next year going to be connected to MegaCon again?
They are not connected to MegaCon because MegaCon is hostile toward the existence of this con. They don't want anybody else in Orlando.
I mean, just a quick. I mean, I'm not going to read everyone. Good Lord, but
just glance at the guest list.
Yeah. Sean Gordon Murphy, Mike Allred, Andy Kubert, Bob Layton, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Simon Bianchi, Adam Hughes, Dan Jurgens, Kevin Nolan, Jose Luis Castillo Lopez. I mean, that right there, that's an A+ list. And this goes on for like 5 more pages.
Yeah, I know. It was fantastic. And Simone Di Meo and Simone Bianchi both came from Italy for this con.
Yeah. They're usually over. They're at
Como.
Like Como stuff. Yeah. Gigi Jones, David Finch, Brian Stilfreeze, Clay Mann, Veronica Fish was there.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
What did you get from her?
The last bit of this for the show was that when I saw Veronica at the party on Friday night, she said, "Oh, come by my table. I have a gift for you." No idea what that means, right? So I went by and she pulls out the original art cover from Meanwhile and hands it to me as a gift. And that's
awesome.
That covers that was traditionally drawn, and then she did the digital like colors and the lettering on it. But the art itself is traditional, so it's on an artboard and with the date that she did it. So I'll always remember, not when she gave it to me, when she drew it. She
cool.
dated it on there. So yeah. So
nice.
There's my other.
There you go. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. So it was a great experience. And if anybody's listening to this is interested in original art, keep your eyes out. It'll be back in either January or February of 2025.
When did tickets go on sale?
Oh, summer.
Okay.
Yeah, my fear is, these things just get totally overblown and they sell out, and But I mean, I would love. I mean, it seems cool to keep it that limited, but I don't know if you can. And then if you just get priced out by like the absolute whales, and so it's interesting. Or maybe they do like a lottery where they're like, if you've been in it, you can't do the next one. Like,
I know that they like Amanda and Jimmy live in Florida.
Yeah,
so they'd probably be regulars. But I know what they're trying to do is have refresh the guest list every year. Mm-hmm. So you'd have some returning guests, and then you'd have some, and then you'd have a over 50% new guests each time. And I know that the hotel was saying that they were super pleased with the turnout in the room bookings and the I can vouch for the bar bookings because I was there. But so they'll be back at everybody was happy. I didn't hear anybody who left it, pro, attendee, whoever left it and went that sucked. Nobody.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that's super neat.
I think I saw that J.G. Jones got something stolen from that.
Yeah, 2 commissions that he had done got
nicked.
Either accidentally picked up. I don't know how you pick up 2 like 11 by 17 watercolors off a table, but whatever. Yeah. They were recovered though.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I was saying, with such a small guest list, you got a locked room.
A locked room mystery.
Yeah.
There's only about 400 of you, and that are
to go one by one. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. No, that's really cool. I mean, there was something fun about the big crazy San Diego cons and all that, but it is such a nightmare to get around. I mean, like these really small cons that are real hyper focused, or the smaller ones, I tend to enjoy a little bit more. And this sounds really cool. Maybe they'll do a West Coast version. Maybe they'll do
I know, but
San Francisco or San Diego.
That would be amazing. The problem is that the people who put it on live in Florida. But I will say there is one of the great pleasures of convention going is being able to walk out of the con and go upstairs to your own room. You don't have to leave the hotel. No Uber is required. You literally leave the convention hall and go to the elevator, and you're in your room in 5 minutes to drop off, to take a nap. What I know, Adam Hughes was leaving to go use the bathroom in their room rather than the public bathroom anytime he stepped out. But that is one of the great pleasures of convention going.
Yep.
It's just really hard to pull off at some shows.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, did you stumble upon any new artists that you're now interested in?
Not new as in new to the business, but new as in people I wasn't that familiar with.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you can look at and you see people walking away with these commissions and go like, God, I wish my budget wasn't already tapped out. But maybe I'm glad that it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, because you got guys like Adam Hughes that are, what are they pulling in, 10 or 15 grand for like commissions easy, if not more. So like,
yeah.
Right. So it's like, that they have people, it seemed like that on that list, they had, some newer people that are not going to be quite that expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your regulars that are going to be,
like an Adam Hughes, for example, who doesn't do commissions, period, did commissions just for this show.
Right. I don't, unrelated, but I sent it to Toby. This weekend, Jim Lee opened his commission list on his Discord. Did you see that?
Did Toby sign up?
I sent him the list. If you want to know the prices, so 10 commissions, 9 by 12 inch, is between 9 to 15 grand, depending on complexity. An 11 to 17 inch, with simple background, starts at 20,000. So yeah, probably, no, Jim Lee's gonna be at the highest end of comic art. There's full painting and other people that I'm sure are more expensive that are still in the comic book industry, but you could probably, someone like Adam Hughes, like, okay, just keep going. The price just keeps going up. What do you want to spend? You want to spend 100 grand? He'll do something for you for sure, right? But like, the 11 by 17 by Jim Lee starts at 20 grand. So I'm sure 400 artists in that room, I'm sure they cleaned up. So millions and millions of dollars, I'm sure were spent just from those 400 people. So
Yep.
So are you saying
Kevin's
we're
wallet
getting Jim Lee
felt some of
cover? Meanwhile,
Yeah.
No, maybe sure 20 grand.
Meanwhile,
I'll kickstart it. Yeah, I'll kickstart it. Well, Lane, you were here for your expertise. Now, we talked a few weeks ago about a massive scam being run through not by CGC, but people using CGC. For people that don't remember, there was people were getting books reholdered where they'd have lower grade comics sent back in to get because the holder quote unquote cracked, and they were able to get them put back in at higher grades than they should have been. If they found ways to switch the books. You can go back and listen to our previous episode. We had a big explanation of it. I only bring this up because there have been multiple lawsuits now filed against people within CGC and sellers. Lane, if you've got, I've got one of the ICV2 articles here, but I know you said there's even more info.
Yeah, well,
if you've got the skinny, let us know, because this is a big deal.
There's two different lawsuits that came out within like 2 days of each other. So it depends on which one you want to talk. Like, if you want to talk about let's talk about the second one first, because that's probably the most information you already said. The second lawsuit that came out revealed the name and identity of the person that was involved in the reholder scam.
The seller, or the people at eBay, or the people at CGC.
The seller.
Okay,
that one is not involved with the CGC person. That one is just
right. This is independent.
Yeah.
Seller on eBay that was fraudulently getting the stuff reholdered.
Correct. And then he also had multiple eBay accounts. They listed his multiple account names and a bunch of other stuff related. And then they had, the lawsuit also had all these samples of what he had done, what they'd received versus what should have been, and all that. And yeah, and that's a huge lawsuit. I don't even think they had an amount yet. It's just basically right now the two lawsuits are basically just cease and desist lawsuits. These aren't really like, as far as I understand, they're not fully into damages yet. They're just trying to stop them from like, well, I guess the second he's sort of after damages, but the other lawsuit is more about stopping them from selling on eBay and profiting.
Yeah, just close the eBay stores and close their accounts with CGC and
yeah. The second lawsuit is the one that you were mentioning, which is basically there were two employees of CGC. One was apparently in the department that is involved with eBay authorized or eBay certification. So I guess she would basically, it's the wife. She would basically just certify products going through eBay were verified, like this is authentic and so on forth. And so she didn't really have as much to do with the books directly. He did.
Yeah, it says this is a grader and a receiving clerk.
Yeah, so she was like the receiving clerk, but she did trade shows. So she was the one that received books at trade shows. He was apparently a grader, a high-end grader. And yeah, so the lawsuit has multiple things. One, he stole books, and he's admitted to, I think, 32 books so far, but they know he's done more. He stole them straight from the shelves of CGC from customers. So basically,
so people that submitted stuff and the books vanished.
Right. He would go in, take the book, and then on top of that, apparently, if he was unsatisfied with the grade of the book that he was stealing, he would go over to the printer, reprint a new label, and basically swap the labels and just push it through the process under his name. And then part of this also has to do with the fact that I guess apparently as part of a perk, CGC employees get to push, I think, 10 books through each on each other's account for free. And then so he was doing some of it through that, and then he was also pushing it under his wife's account. And then the other part of the lawsuit has to do with the fact that as part of their NDA, they're not supposed to sell on eBay. And so he shouldn't have had a store anyway. And the other thing is the store is under her name.
So they can get stuff graded for themselves, but they're not allowed to sell it.
Right, because otherwise, that's like, having a monopoly, right? You're basically,
especially if he's the grader.
Exactly, because he could manipulate.
You're grading your own books or something. Yeah.
And so, that's why the lawsuit right now is more about shutting him down before they start looking into damages. Even though they have plenty of examples of what he's admitted to. Apparently, this was a case that they've been following him for a year now and caught him on multiple occasions, but he's basically, they're just trying to track down all his lies kind of thing to figure out what really happened, how much he really affected, that kind of thing. But, not 100%. This is all, from, there's a guy that broke down the lawsuit itself on Twitter. You can find tons of info on YouTube through like Swaggle House and some other independent guys that are just reporting on all this stuff. It's just getting nuts right now.
Yeah. They said for the one that tampered with the CGC slabs, this still says 350 higher grade comics that were swapped. But yeah, who knows?
They're pretty sure it's higher.
There could be more.
Yeah, I think the latest was that the head of CGC mentioned that under his account, he's done over 2,000 books in each of the last 2 years. But it's just
submitted.
Yeah. But I think the 350 were just reholders.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know how many also were submitted under normal or any other ways, or so it's still ongoing. And it's only going to get worse the way it sounds.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we'll keep an eye on that as it goes forward, because I'm sure something. I'm sure there's not the last we're going to hear about this. So, but yeah, especially if you've bought, if you buy high end CGC stuff, I'm sure you're already following this, but it's worth checking the list on the CGC site to see if any of the books you have could potentially have been part of this if you bought anything in the last year or two, especially some of these kind of high end keys. This is a quick one. I just wanted to mention this. I have another story I want to talk a lot more about, but we do joke a lot. We do joke a lot about Rob Liefeld. And I'm going to continue to joke a lot about Rob Liefeld, but I will say he is, according to Rob Liefeld, retiring from drawing and writing Deadpool. I'm sure he'll have another Kickstarter that won't actually happen. I'm sure he'll go off and do other stuff.
Hey,
maybe this includes.
Thing?
Yeah, we're going to get our Hawk and Doug print ever one of these days, I'm sure. Maybe he says he won't do Deadpool, but he'll do Ladypool and Dogpool and Zombie Deadpool and Ultimate Deadpool. Again, I would not hold my breath that he is done with the one character that seems to have some success that he co-created. I want to just say that in really serious tones here. Rob Liefeld, the co-creator of Deadpool. Remember that. Co-creator. That's not what he says, but I'm telling you.
When did he announce this again?
He is the co-creator of Deadpool. Remember, co-creator.
That's great. When did he announce this?
Like last week. We were at this past weekend. Myself and Leanne set up San Jose State. I mean, totally unrelated, but actually related to what I'm saying right now. We set up at this little con they have for the alumni of San Jose State. They do for the art program. They do this every year. We've gone to a couple of them. Leanne's gone a few times, but we actually set up to sell copies. And meanwhile, because she worked on the book, obviously, so she got a table and we had copies of the book. We sold like 30 or 40 copies or something. It's mostly students that are there. So that was cool. It's funny. Actually, talking to a lot of the kids, I very quickly realized the selling point, and it worked like a bunch of times. I'd be like, yeah, there's all these Western American comic creators, because everything there except for like 2 tables was manga. Flesk is always there. They always sponsor that con. But yeah, it's a very, very obviously it's mostly female, mostly Asian at San Jose State in the art program. But it's a lot of anime and manga style stuff. But the pitch was there are all these creators on here, including Brian Michael Bendis, the co-creator of Miles Morales. And there's your pitch. That's the pitch. And they were all like, oh my God, really? So that was the name.
So did you change the paperwork at the shop to reflect those things?
Multiple people. There was 2 or 3 people in Spider-Man 2099 shirts. And these are 19-year-old girls. And I'm like, that's just weird.
Why?
Because I know you only know the character from Spider-Verse, who is not the character from the comic at all. And that's fine. It's just really weird. But they were doing this trivia. Okay, this is the art department, okay? The art department. And I know all the teachers there because they all work with Leanne, and I've been to their parties. I've talked to a bunch of them. So whoever put together this quiz, Leanne, you got to talk to them. Okay, you got to find out who put together this quiz.
It was the students.
Yeah, you got to talk to them. There is a poll. All right, they do there was 25 questions, right? And it was 4 multiple choice, right? And so one of the questions, so I know there was I remember there was some comic book question, and I was like, oh, I don't remember what the question was, but I was like, oh, hey, the next question: who is the creator of Spider-Man? All right, and it was like two random names. It was like two random names that whatever, not important. Stan Lee, and I'm see that, and I'm like, okay. And then the next choice, Steve Ditko, and I'm like, is this a trick question? Like, it's Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, the creators of Spider-Man, creator and co-creator. I'm like, my brain, this is all, 5 seconds to answer while the thing's counting down. It's like a little game you can play. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, these are artists, so clearly Steve Ditko is the answer. But these are also not comic book people. So are they going to say Stan Lee? I don't. But they know that it's Steve Ditko because, I mean, it's both, but is this like a trick question that the art program is throwing out to see who people choose the answer is? And like so there was a thing you basically replied on your phone and it would show like the score online. It would show who chose it. Like 85% of the people chose Stan Lee and the answer was Stan Lee. And I'm like, this is the art department and you're crediting Stan Lee and not Steve Ditko for creating Spider-Man. That's interesting and also problematic. Like you should know, but that goes to show like that, just not just Stan Lee, but just like how artists are kind of usually left out of the equation when it comes to like, creation of characters, which is what makes Rob Liefeld claiming to be the creator of Deadpool such a funny thing to me, because he co-created that character along with many other characters with Fabian Nicieza. Rob Liefeld did not create Deadpool. He created Deadpool with Fabian Nicieza, the writer of New Mutants. So Cable would have been Louis Simonson, right? Was writing it before Nicieza took over. Nicieza took over at the very end. I wrote like the last arc heading into like X-Force because he also wrote X-Force. So I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny that the artist is claiming sole creation responsibility. It's usually the writer that gets the credit. And in Rob Liefeld's case, the artist claims all the credit. But I will fight back. I'll tell you the real truth of Rob Liefeld co-created Deadpool.
I'm just curious. Did you just tell us you actually participated in a Kahoot?
Kahoot?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Kahoot? I have no idea. No, I didn't do it. So I didn't do that one. I was just watching that one. There was a second one that was about the school, and Leanne did it.
Sorry.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing the schools and all that use to give kids quizzes to make them funner.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it's whatever. It's just an online little quiz thing. Yeah, I have no idea what it was called. It was
called
Kahoot.
Yeah, sure. There you go. I guess if you have kids, you maybe know what this is. I don't.
I do. Watched.
But yes, Rob Liefeld no longer working on Deadpool until he needs a paycheck when he never makes a Kickstarter in his next.
I just find it hilarious that he makes this announcement the week before the teaser drops at a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Huh?
I just
is it you're retiring to come out of retirement? Like
in 6 months to draw Deadpool again.
To make a demand for your co-creation?
I don't know. I don't know. I try not to think or talk about Rob Liefeld ever, but I thought this was, his claim now of retiring from drawing Deadpool. Sure. Okay. Cool. But the real story I want to talk about here is a rumor that dropped today.
Oh, jeez.
Which, if this is true, I'm going to be really excited. Now, this wasn't just like a random thing. This popped up on a bunch of websites. Bleeding Cool and The Beat and a bunch of other sites had this year. But over the weekend, the private group for Barry Kitson, the artist, had a post in it from Barry Kitson about needing to dig up some artwork from the Batman Punisher crossover that he was involved with. because Marvel and DC are going to reprint Amalgam and the Marvel and DC crossovers. Now, this post was later deleted. This was a private post, but of course became public. Yada, yada, yada. What are you going to do? Now, just a rumor. I have no idea, right? But it could be like a year from now. Who fucking knows? Right? This could be years from now. At the rate that Marvel and DC have, the lack of being able to get this shit together in the last 20 years, it would not surprise me if it never happens. But he thinks something's happening. The chance of reprinting Amalgam and all the original Marvel and DC crossovers is great, but the possibility of new ones, that's what I'm hoping for. Maybe this is like if we can reprint these and they sell well, it's kind of gets it going, then maybe we can try to do new ones. Because there's been like 2 generations of comic creators that have not at Marvel and DC that have never been able to do this. I mean, they've been doing when Superman came out 70s, right? Late 70s.
Yeah, because Amalgam was 97.
Yeah, so Spider-Man. So you had all the original the tabloid ones. Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans. Was Batman and Hulk 80s? That must have been 80s, right?
Yeah, that must have been super early. I want to say 81 for that, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans was like
84, maybe?
Yeah. And then 90s, boom, they took off and they made a ton of them, right? That is weird that they kind of stopped for a while, but once you got into the 90s, they made a bunch of these leading to DC vs. Marvel Access, or All Access, and then the Amalgam, which was the mashup universe that they did where the characters like crossed over and you got like Spider-Boy, hey Spider-Boy, and what was the Punisher Batman one called? What was that called?
Lake of Fire.
Or the Wolverine one, yeah. Dark Claw, yeah. Of course, then the granddaddy of them all, JLA Avengers, finally happened. And that was the last time you've ever had a crossover. And that's almost 20 years ago at this point. So I would kill to have these back in print, not just as a retailer, but as a fan. I'm going to have all these. I must have all these. I'm looking at... I do have a list here. There is a list on the Bleeding Cool page. I must have every issue. I must have all of these. But to do new ones... that is what I want.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
So, if this is real and these do well, I don't know, man. Disney likes money. That's all I'm saying, okay?
I mean, they like money, but we've seen both companies do stupid shit to not make money.
As I understand, the reprint for JLA Avengers was difficult because of one of the companies, and I'll let you take a guess which one.
The mouse?
I mean, Kevin was just visiting very close to one of the home offices of this company.
You say that, and yet you're hoping for new crossovers.
Yeah,
but if they're doing this, then maybe that's finally cracking, and Marvel's gonna do new stuff.
But the thing is even if these were like to be done, why would they wouldn't do it this year? They do it in 3 years when it's like a 30th anniversary.
For what, Amalgam?
For the Amalgam stuff.
Well, when was DC vs. Marvel? DC vs. Marvel was DC vs. Marvel 95? 96. Yeah, DC vs. Marvel was 96.
Yeah, so they'll do something in 96 DC versus Marvel.
Yeah, it could. Oh no! You know what they do? They start releasing these now to to 2026, and that's when they do the next big. That's when they do like
Giving
the
them
new
more
one,
credit than I
right?
think they deserve.
Well,
especially since the JLA Avengers book was so difficult to get out in the first place.
someone, when I posted this on Twitter, someone asked, they're like, or on Blue Sky, someone asked like, when is a Secret Crisis? And I'm like, 2030, baby, 2030. So that's the Doomsday Clock, Jeff Johns, JLA or Marvel DC crossover. So we got till 2030. We got like 6 years for them to get Secret Crisis going. But yeah. I'll take 2026. I'll take 2026 for the next Marvel DC crossover.
My vote
Cool.
would be reprint the JLA Avengers Absolute Edition.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
That is the.
It's a It's still like $500-600.
I know.
It's so expensive.
See what needs to happen, right? Is as comic book stores, we need to band together to kind of let these publishers know, facsimile versions of these might sell.
Oh yeah. Oh, the trades, facsimiles. Oh, they could totally do like an oversized facsimile of Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
a full size version. That'd be great. But I mean, look, when they stopped these, it was, look, you don't get any bigger than Kurt Busiek and George Perez there at the end. But, look at, the creators that have come up over the last 20 years. Someone like Ed Brubaker, get him to do like a Cap Batman crossover, right? I mean, he's doing the animated series. He might come back and do a one shot, right? Or like Scott Snyder, Dan Slott, right? I mean, there's been a lot of big creators that either were not in the industry or not at the point where they were going to get to do one of these crossovers when these stopped. So there's a ton of big creators in the last 20 years. Jonathan Hickman can do his X-Men and Legion of Superheroes crossover, right? They like he can get to do his Legion book. He just has to do an X-Men book at the same time. So yeah, there's totally like when we talked months ago, or a couple months ago, I think at this point.
Last year
about Mark Miller's plan. Yeah, about Mark Miller's plan. Where he's like, you just get all the big creators to do stuff. They're just not going to do the monthly ongoing books forever. But every couple, twice a year, a high-end Marvel DC one-shot, that's a big deal. That's, these were really cool and good for casual readers and, just kind of, light in continuity and, just easy sellers. I don't want a constant. I don't want like a Marvel DC universe. It's never ending where, it's just amalgam forever. Like, no. That's not special. Right. But if you want to do one bookie, maybe one miniseries a year or two one shots every 6 months or something like that. You rotate around the creative teams or you rotate around the characters. That's great. These are super fun.
Yeah, it would be best if you did like a one shot from each company a year, right? Like,
yeah, totally. Like, Marvel does one, DC does one. They get their big guns to work on it. Maybe every couple of years you do a crossover. I mean, that's so much of it's that who would win in the fight. It's that just arguing on a Wednesday.
That old page out of the Wizard magazine, right, where you would get
both,
and then it's like, yep.
Oh, I think you've cracked the code, Ryan. See?
What's that?
If we go back to what we were talking about earlier, this is how you get Liefeld to go back and do a Deadpool Deathstroke crossover.
I mean, it would sell. Like I'd be forced to buy it. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'd be forced to buy it.
The Deadpool what?
So
Deathstroke.
Deadpool and Deathstroke. Yeah. Well, look, who are characters that were really not a thing when this ended? Harley and Deadpool crossover,
yeah, I mean,
right?
Deadpool.
Like that would be
oh, dear God.
really cool.
Oh no. We've opened a Pandora's box that we can't close if we do this because Marvel will do the Gwenpool thing and amalgam it with something else. There's too many things merging.
Well, the Flash family and the Spider-Verse family, right? All the multiverse Flashes and all the multiverse Spider people, right? That'd be fun. I mean, if they really want to you want to blow out and save the industry, Batman, Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane, right? I mean, Scott Snyder to write it, McFarlane to pencil it. Right? I mean, that Batman Spider-Man McFarlane book,
By Scott
is
Snyder would
like
tell,
that is like the pinnacle, right? Of that was like the '90s crossover book that was going to beat everything that never happened. So, McFarlane likes money. I'm sure that'd sell stupid amounts. God, I hope this is real. I've been ever since they reprinted that JLA Avengers. I've had a hope that they would come back and do this. So I really hope this is real, even if we don't get anything new.
Well, even
if
it's just full on reprints of JLA Avengers for the like regular people,
they can crank these out in like 3 or Amalgam's a couple epics. Amalgam's like two books,
or because it's like
in the crossovers, because they're all prestige format mostly. You could do the classic versions, you could do the '90s, you could do DC vs Marvel, you do JLA Avengers, 5 or 6 books will cover it all. So,
imagine Mark Russell writing some of these.
Oh, please, this. Like I said, there's so many great creators that never got to play around in this playground.
Dude, and Mark Russell on Lobo the Duck. Or Chips.
A new batch of Amalgam stuff would be great. Again, there's a lot of new characters that have been coming around. There's
Challenges are fantastic, right? Oh man,
they did that.
Imagine throwing Doom Patrol in there.
Well, it is funny. I think I brought this up a couple of years ago when I looked at the DC versus Avengers or the DC versus Marvel cover art, and I'm like, man, this is such a time in history when these characters were like these versions of these characters. Like, what would the equivalent be today? And it's like, Captain Marvel would be on this list, and I don't have the cover in front of me. I'm trying to think. I remember looking at it, going like, who would be on here? And there was some like Robin wouldn't be on there, and there was a couple other characters. Like I think Captain Marvel, Shazam was on there. Like he wouldn't be there.
Don't put that up. You're gonna have all the A2 characters versus all the kids.
But you'd have Deadpool, right? Yeah, you'd have you'd have Harley Quinn for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be such a different list of Marvel versus DC versus what it was when they did it in the mid-90s.
You would possibly have Miles versus Peter, right? You would have,
Well, no, you'd have like Miles and Static, right?
Yeah.
There's totally, it'd be. You really think about how many characters have been introduced or came to prominence in the last 25 years. Yeah, it'd be
Ryan. I think we've cracked it. They just need to aim this stuff at the kids.
Well.
Hit that Scholastic thing with it. Oh my god! You hate it, but it makes money. They want to make that money. Sell it to the kids.
Well, they don't, but they don't care about the history of like the crossovers and stuff. Like
it doesn't matter about that. You just get them a little enticed. It's like give them that little taste at first, and then reel them in later.
We can get Archie in, so Punisher and Archie can come back and print.
We can throw Predator in now.
Predator versus Archie.
Predator, Aliens, all of them could come in now.
There we go.
It would be nice to get some reprints of like Ultraverse stuff, possibly too.
Oh, that's. I mean, Marvel's doing an omnibus for.
Isn't it
Sigil?
Well, no, they just did the cross-gen one.
Yeah, the cross-gen one. Yeah,
I'm talking Prime and.
No, I know, but Marvel's publishing cross-gen stuff again. So was it Sigil that they just announced the Omni for?
I think it's Sigil that they just announced an Omni for.
I can't remember. I can't remember which book it was.
Sigil's the one that kind of was the whole universe. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see them. I don't know if they'll ever do anything with Ultraverse, but why not? As far as I know, they still have the rights. They still own all that stuff.
You never know. Ultraverse might be in the Deadpool Wolverine movie.
Unlikely, but yeah, you never know. We got one last thing to talk about here, briefly before we wrap up. DC vs Marvel, please. Oh God, I want this to happen so bad. I really hope. Because
you know what would help?
I really hope this happens.
You know what would help comic book stores sell comics? Interesting stuff like this.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's a gimmick. If it's constant and never ending, and I don't want that. But once a year, you can do a fun little crossover. Just, you mix up the characters, you mix up the creators.
Down, you're
it's fun.
publishing.
It's fun. Yeah, it'd be a big deal. Every year would be a big deal.
It's just once or twice a year, we get the stuff. You put back, put your everything aside and just let it run.
Yep. But mentioned Deadpool multiple times this episode. We should talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine teaser trailer that did show up during the Super Bowl.
Well, it didn't really show up. A teaser of the teaser showed up and said, "Go, it's online. The full thing is online now."
Oh, it wasn't on.
No,
they didn't show the whole thing during the Super Bowl.
No. Huh. The whole thing, and they're like, "It's gonna start!" Woohoo! It's online now. It's like, you sons of bitch.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, the teaser's like
cheaper.
Well, the teaser's 2 minutes and and like almost 2.5 minutes long.
Oh yeah, but they had like a 30-second.
It had a 30-second soundbite for it, which is
yeah. Okay. I thought you meant to just have like a little like a little pop up or something. No, sure, they had like the 30-second trailer. Sure.
Trailer for the trailer that it's online. Yeah. And then when you looked, it wasn't online yet.
Nope. Oh, great. I mean, they don't really tell you much, but it looks fun. I'm my concern. I Harley and Deadpool both are characters good in moderation. We've not had an endless run of Deadpool movies, so although I'm pretty Deadpooled out in the comics, I think again, what was Deadpool 2? 2017 or something like that.
Oh, I think so.
Well,
it was a while ago.
Is that long ago? It was a long time ago. And Ryan Reynolds obviously loves the character. And
2018 for Deadpool 2.
2018, okay.
Because 2016 was Deadpool.
Yeah, because it came out pretty quick. It's been a long wait. I'm a little about the TVA, and I mean, I'm sure they'll make fun of it, but like.
Yeah, that's the part that throws me on that one. I didn't care for the TVA stuff.
Yeah, so if I have a concern here is that what made Deadpool work so well is that even with the X-Men, it did its own thing. It had really it didn't bother with the continuity of what was going on with the X-Men. It poked fun at it, but it didn't really worry about it. I don't expect the TVA is going to be like a massive part of this. Yeah, like I just feel like it's maybe not. I don't know. Like I guess they're like we have to have it be part of the things we're doing in the Marvel universe now. Which I don't know. It feels like that's the weak part of it. So we'll see. Maybe it's I'm sure it'll be really funny. I mean the other I didn't like the second one quite as much as the first one, but the first one was fantastic. The second one was very good. But yeah, God, it sounds funny, but I really hope it's limited in how much it crosses over with the Marvel stuff. I mean, I really am. Like,
I want to say after watching the teaser,
I'm just multiversed out. I
think after watching
the biggest Flash fan in the world is multiversed out. So
because it's Marvel multiverse.
Yeah,
but that exhausts too much
even
faster.
DC, even DC, like it just everyone went to the same well at the same time. Like multiverse is like Marvel versus DC crossover. It's fun. It's fun occasionally. It can't be every story. You need to do something else. Is it fun having Wolverine beat up a bunch of or Deadpool and Wolverine beat up a bunch of like Fox movie
executive
versions of characters? They could fight Michael Chiklis or whatever. Like, I mean, sure, that could be fun. But it's like, but is the movie any good? Like, just a bunch of alternate universe cameos. Like, it was fun in Doctor Strange. That's kind of like the first time they really did it. But I don't know. It's just a lot of multiverse stuff. But go ahead.
Oh, I mean, from the trailer, yeah, I wasn't sure about the TA, the Time Authority stuff. But I mean, I have a feeling they're going to lean hard into kind of that weird, like, where Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, which is fine, but there's that weird in between when he breaks. So like when he got hit in the head and he goes into this cartoon world or whatever, and then like there's the scene that they've shown stills from where they have the broken Fox logo in the sand, and I'm like how is this gonna really reflect?
Oh, then yeah, that's my there was definitely a good story in the first one, and it's still a very pretty decent story in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it is just a bunch of cameos, I'm over that for now. All right, so I hope it's a fun movie, and I like Hugh Jackman. I like Wolverine. It looks like he's going to be Patch, or at least something looks like Patch. He's in that white suit. See him sitting from behind with his hair. I'm sure you guys got that.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
So. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we don't. So they don't show Wolverine at all in the trailer. Like, not really.
Well, they show him for like 2 seconds. Or not even.
Yeah, but you never,
I heard the trailer, but I wasn't looking.
yeah. I mean, you didn't really miss anything. They didn't show anything. They have some jokes and some fights with the TVA, and that's it. Like, there's just nothing. Yeah, they don't give you the plot at all. So, yeah,
just one cameo. That's it, really. That's all they really spoiled.
Who's that cameo? I don't even remember.
I don't.
Like a real character?
There's a character. Problem is, I don't know who it is because I haven't watched all the Marvel shows. Is it supposed to be who was in Falcon and Winter Soldier? The other Wyatt? Was that him? I don't know.
No,
there's somebody in the
no,
TVA
no.
that's supposedly someone that we know. Because I've read so many spoilers. People are telling me that this is an actor everybody knows. It's been in the Marvel MCU, but I don't know who it is. I don't watch enough.
I don't know. Tom Wamsgad is in it. Wamsgad? Wamsgad? What's his name? Wamscans? That's not right. Wamscans? That's his name? That's not how you say his last name. I was lied to. Justin told me it was Cousin Greg. And I was so excited. It's just Tom. And Tom's okay. I like Tom. But he's no Cousin Greg. If it was Cousin Greg, I'd be there day one camping out. Okay.
Cousin Greg goes in your character, your fan club, along with Jason Todd from the Titans TV show.
Yes. Sure.
Like the people you would want to flee from or punch out in real life, but who you like watching on screen.
He is like top 5 fictional character of all time. Okay. Cousin Greg is one of the greatest fictional characters ever created. Like, it's not even a question. I love him so much. What's that?
What are we talking about?
Cousin Greg from Succession. I was lied to and told.
I've never seen that.
I was told Greg is in it. It's not. Tom's in it. Again, I like Tom.
I never saw that one.
But he's no Greg. He's not Greg. Anyway,
when are we getting a new Craven trailer? I got to get excited for our date.
Oh, the Craven trailer, baby! Yeah.
Well, what's it called? It's coming out.
Madam Web.
This week?
Yeah.
Isn't it this week?
Are you going?
I think that what's that other movie? I think that Bob Marley movie's like already like outpacing the Madam Web movie.
Never mind that. Are you going?
This week? No, I do not have plans.
Are you going to see Madam Web in a theater? You, Ryan Higgins.
I mean, I have a bunch of free movie tickets. Maybe I'll go next Thursday if it's still in theaters.
Next Thursday?
Yeah. My day off. Yeah, if it's still in theaters.
Not this Thursday.
No, not this Thursday. No. I don't want to beat the rush, okay? I gotta let the crowds go.
You'll still be the only one in the theater.
I know.
Sleeping,
We'll
right?
see.
He'll be sleeping.
Maybe. Probably not.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
You have freedom to walk out of hell. The chains are only of your own making.
Yeah. Boy, looking forward to that Rotten Tomatoes score to drop. So
it hasn't dropped already?
No, I'm sure it'll drop on Friday or Thursday when the movie comes out because I'm sure everyone will hate it. I'm also joking. I don't check Rotten Tomatoes, but I will look up for my own sanity here for Brock's
Oh, I'm looking it up right now.
Madam Web, yeah, I'm going to assume reviews have not been published for Madam Web yet. No reviews as of now. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just stupid fun. Like maybe it's just kind of a generic nothing movie. But yeah. Probably no review of that next podcast. I don't know unless somebody sees it.
Oh no, it comes out Wednesday.
Yeah, it comes out this week.
It comes out in 2 days on SAD.
So it's probably on SAD.
Yeah, Single Awareness Day.
Oh, Valentine's Day.
There you go. Thank you.
It'll probably be yeah, reviews will probably drop Wednesday then. Oh, does that mean the screening's tomorrow night?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
You're going to it though.
Yeah.
You have to go to it.
I really don't.
Yeah, you do.
I really don't. I'm getting better. I'm trying. We'll see. If I'm bored, maybe I'll go see it. But I can't imagine. Yeah, but Toby will see it because Toby watches every single movie in the theater, so he can have his review in 2 weeks.
Well, he sees half the movie.
I was going to say, yeah.
He falls asleep. He goes to the movies to take naps.
That's the only way to fall asleep is in the theater.
Dude, there's cheaper ways to fall asleep, man.
Well, anybody who's listening who goes to see Madam Web and look, it could be terrible, it could be dumb, it could be cool. The trailer doesn't look great, but it could be cool. Who knows? But if anybody goes to see it and it is legitimately good, not trolling us, please post about it in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And let Kevin know if Craven shows up.
Yeah, if they're Craven trailer Lane.
It could be a cameo.
No, I don't. My commitment is to the movie. I don't care about a cameo.
Let's see if anyone posts the box office. I've said for a long time I would like to have Marvel and DC make cheaper movies, but I don't mean cheaper. I don't mean cheap movies, right? But then it still has between an $80 and $100 million budget. So
we'll get Amazing Spider-Man. We'll get the Amazing Spider-Man graphics.
It's visual effects and costuming and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, they just can't. I mean, but you can make a movie for $100 million and be a big hit. You can make $300 or $400 million if it's okay, if it's a reasonably okay movie. Like I think Aquaman's like closing in like $500 million. I think it was like four something, which should be good. That's a lot of fucking money. That should be a good box office.
But see, the thing is, box office is no longer, hey, what does it make awesome? It's what can we project that this makes? And it has to hit that. And the problem is they're projecting everything to be a blockbuster hit.
No, I mean, if something like Madam Web can make $250 million, that's probably a huge hit. That's probably a huge success for them. And 2.5 times the production budget is probably the most they're going to get. Will it hit that? I don't fucking know. And make $20 million here and flame out overseas, probably, right? You don't need these things to make $1 billion, but yeah, you could do. I mean, I gotta keep going back to Godzilla -1. You don't have to spend $100 million and look like shit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
God, I want that to win all the visual effects for the Oscars. I want that to win everything.
Well, the number one at the box office this past weekend for February 9th was Argyle, and it was
like horrid.
I know, but it was only grossed $6 million.
And that was number one.
That was number one.
Was it really? Yeah. I mean, it looks the stupidest movie. Like, I don't know who would possibly go see that movie. I thought it was a joke when I saw the trailer. Like, I thought it was like one of those like not another teen movie or like like
it
one
looks
of those
like one of those
parody movies.
It looks like a trailer that would be on SNL.
Yeah,
Like, did you put the guest host in a fake movie trailer?
Well,
yeah.
the previous week,
scary movie.
the previous week it made 17. Its opening weekend, so its drop was huge, right? But it
looks terrible.
But like even the previous week, Mean Girls almost hit 7 million. They had 11 million.
Well, but Mean Girls, I'm sure, has a budget of like $8.
Yeah,
like that movie, like you can crank those movies out. They don't cost anything.
Yeah. But like you're not getting the numbers that you used to get on these charts, right? It's like, you're not. People have to be really enticed to go, and they're just they're not anymore. And movies like Godzilla -1, or for me personally, The Creator was really amazing. Like those were made on decent budgets. So it's like, like you don't need all of the flair and all that stuff. It doesn't need to follow the same kind of pathway. You can get success just by, a good solid marketing plan and some word of mouth.
Yeah, you make a good movie.
That too
usually
make
helps.
A good movie first.
Yeah, like, usually, if you make a good movie, people go see it.
Like,
not always, but usually.
Like one of the things that like The Creator, I think for me enticed was I knew it was supposed to be a longer movie going in, and they cut it down. And I watched the movie going, I want to watch the extended version. Like that's how. Like I'm like, ooh, please. Give me the extended version, because apparently it was like it's a 5-hour movie, and I'm like, sure, sold, give it to me. Just let me know when that thing drops. But yeah, like -1 made how much going back, and even in black and white.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the recent updates on it, but I mean, it's got a clear 100 million at this point. It did really, really, which again, 100 million for that movie is fantastic. Yeah. Considering it's a 4-hour movie and we're pretty limited. I mean, it went wide, but not like super big wide. So yeah, no, fantastic. It's already be like 10 times its budget.
Yeah.
So if not more than that, which puts it in pretty rare status.
Yeah. So its domestic gross was 56 million. And international was almost 50 million. So it's grossed 100 worldwide.
Yeah, that's real good. That's real good for that movie. So, yep. If you see Madam Web, let us know. Maybe I'll see you in the theater. Just don't look at each other if you see me. Yeah. It's like no eye contact.
It'll be like going to see a porn movie. You don't want to be seen or identified.
Held my jacket up over my face. Yep. Oh, hat low. That is it. We're going to wrap up. Thank you all for this wonderful podcast. We'll be back in a week or two. Maybe we'll talk about Madam Web. You never know.
We didn't even talk about Cadence.
We didn't even talk about Cadence to get you to come back. We may talk about Madam Web. Maybe not. You never know.
Maybe not. Depends on if you want it. Probably not. I'm sure we'll say something about it. Edward at geekyvillain.com. Thanks to Joe Duff and Kelsey May. Thank you to Craig Anderson at the Executive Evolution Podcast and to Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast. Please check out all of our and all our other backers at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. You can go to comicsconspiracy.biz to find comic books that we sell at the store for pickup, mail order, subscriptions. You can set up a comic hub. Good stuff there. And meanwhile, anthology.com. Kevin, you gonna tour the art around? You gonna tour that cover around?
Yeah, you need to post.
Maybe we'll do a 1-year anniversary party at the shop, and you can bring it by.
There you go.
Love a little gallery of just that.
Yeah. Well, we got Lane's art.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to assemble some more pages to make a gallery.
Yeah, we got pages. Toby could do some like high-res G-clays of his pages. Yeah, from the Gershines. We could do that. Conspiratorrock.com.
Yeah, that's
Brock's website where you can go see his videos and all his stuff over there. Charlie's Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, all about Doctor Who. And Kevin's weekly interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com. And I never write it down, but you have another art.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
A page I love.
Art related.
It's on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's not a link I could tell people to go where you can find them all. But the channel on YouTube is called Comic Art Live. And then the shorts, it's broken down by different categories. Shorts, a page I love. The latest ones posted were our friend Liana, Ryan Sook, Brian Bendis were the three most recent ones.
Nice.
You need to get a playlist going if they're on YouTube of just those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
And Leanne, my wife, has her art at leannehill.com and etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. And follow us on Blue Sky, please. Ryan Higgins, that is myself. Blue Sky is now public. You don't have to make an account. Or if you just want to make an account, you just make an account. You don't have to have a
And so far, it doesn't seem so bad with a flood of like.
No, it's great. Yeah. You don't need an invite anymore.
Like,
yeah, the way Twitter used to be. Remember that?
Yeah.
You see the posts from the people you follow. Yeah. Incredible. What a concept. If you follow someone, you see their posts. If you don't follow someone, you don't see their posts unless they're reposted.
We're reposted.
Shocking. It's a real shocking turn of events here, but we're back in like the mid 2000s. Okay. But I'm Ryan Higgins at Ryan Higgins on at Blue Sky. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Kevin is at Kevin Sharp. Have not moved the store over there yet. We are still at Comics Con Store on Twitter, and my posts there are very generic. But they are links if you would like to order comics or FOC Last Call. If you're still on Twitter, join us on Blue Sky.
The real thing people want to know, though, is are you just AI generating the content on Twitter now for the store?
I mean, I create it once and then I copy it to multiple. I copy it to Facebook and Instagram, and people are like, "Why do you post a link on Instagram when you can't have links on Instagram?" And I said, "That's Instagram's problem, not mine. I'm posting a link on Instagram, and you can copy it because I use Instagram on a web browser, not on a phone. I use it on a web browser like a regular human." The way nobody else uses Instagram.
This is our old man yells at the sky thing.
I use a web browser on my personal computer.
Internet
web browser on your phone.
You can. And check out Geekbox. We recorded last week. I'm sure we talked about something. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure we talked about Star Trek: The Next Generation that Ryan Scott saw. Hopefully we're talking about the Nintendo Direct in a week or two. That'd be great. Hopefully there's a Nintendo Direct on Thursday. Oh, if I wake up tomorrow and there's a Nintendo Direct on Thursday,
you guys didn't
so
talk about
happy.
that Suicide Squad video game?
I mean, we talked kind of around it. We talked about it, and I think I was making fun of the fact that the Joker is like the first DLC character.
Giggles?
Giggles?
Yeah, so the best thing I saw was somebody's like, and they expect us to pay how much money for not? This isn't even a Joker character. This is a fucking this is his like modern 20-something counterpart called Giggles.
But Giggles isn't that his?
Isn't that I don't know if it's
his?
No, I don't think it's
his friend.
The short guy. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that his friend?
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, go listen to Geekbox. I'm talking about nerdy stuff. Ryan's at Dice, I think, right now. So, maybe we'll talk about that next week. All right, that's it. That's all we got. Fun to Madam Web if you go. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.